Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Tuesday as we have a very clear market structural resistance level that we are currently facing as we speak at 50,300 US dollars. And this is going to be a momentous time for Bitcoin because if we're able to break above this level, the likelihood that we're able to get above 54,000 and 53,000, which was our previous resistance where we rejected over 19%, becomes highly likely, and it puts us inside of the range of 58,353 and 49,700. I want to talk about what I'm expecting for Bitcoin this Tuesday. It's Turnaround Tuesday. I said that there was most likely a chance that we were gonna see a continued push to the upside on Tuesday, but tomorrow things may change, and that all has to do with what's happening right now to traditional markets. We all know that the warning bells are off with the S&P 500 below this 100-day moving average for the first time since October of 2020. We're fighting to get back above it as we speak. Today, we have seen the S&P 500 move to the upside while the cryptocurrency market moved to the side. That tells me that there's institutional capital flowing in between these markets. And when we look at the DXY, the reason that this is all happening is we are above 93.82, which has been a major resistance that we haven't broke for over a year. And when the dollar value strengthens, for those tuned in the Cypress channel, you know what happens to assets. They tend to come down in US dollar price. For those inside of our Discord premium group, you know we took a short on Ethereum at 34.51. It had already hit two targets up to 34.11, but we may need to re-enter a short position if we see another break to the upside. For those not in the Discord, the link is in the description below. Once again, we opened that up yesterday. Now the Bitcoin to US dollar price, I want to talk about what's happening here. On the 6-hour chart, the institutional time frame that we've been monitoring, notice that we've yet to see real buy pressure when it comes to institutional type of volume to compare to what brought us down 19% on the 6th of September. But we're facing this extremely important resistance. If we break above this, we could expect Bitcoin to see a lot of volatility up towards the midpoint of this range, right around this $54,000 to $55,000 level, because we all know that when you break into a new range, the midpoint of the range typically becomes a level of resistance or support if that's to the downside. And so we want to start monitoring this $50,300 level, but realize this: with the traditional markets not in the favor of the cryptocurrency market right now, we have to be very cautious as we move up here with Bitcoin. And I want to clearly emphasize that. Of course, if we go into some of these smaller time frames and we look at how Bitcoin is reacting to this resistance, we have yet to really see sell pressure. And that tells me that the likelihood of us seeing a rally to the upside to maybe clear some shorts, maybe to see some stop losses hit, is possible. And so we really want to start monitoring this as a macro resistance. And I say that because the only time that we've touched this resistance was when we hit 64,000 US dollars for Bitcoin. And of course, that was a short-term top. And the second time this resistance came into play was when we hit another macro short-term top where we came down 19%. And so we know that this is a very big area of interest for institutions, and I'm sure retail traders are watching this resistance level. So we really want to watch what's happening into the smaller time frames. I want to pull up the Ichimoku cloud. I love looking at the Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hour chart. Notice how we are above the cloud right now. We are pretty much in a rally, but the question is, how long can this rally last? Remember last time we were above the Ichimoku cloud for quite some time. We eventually saw a drop below. I'm not trying to be bearish. What I am saying that is, if the traditional markets weren't looking the way they were, I wouldn't be so concerned about this move to the upside. But realize that with this range of 49,700 to 58,353, anything could happen. And so on the daily chart, notice how we are still maintaining the body of this candle between the 44,800 and the $58,300 range, telling me there's going to be a lot of volatility over the next few days. And the question is, where's Bitcoin going to end up? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens over the next 24 to 48 hours. I had to get this video out to you guys as soon as we started to come up and test this resistance level. I just want you guys to realize that if traditional markets were not looking so against the cryptocurrency market, I wouldn't be too cautious of this move to the upside. But because Bitcoin is so far above the 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day moving average, and so far above the 20-week moving average, while the S&P 500 is showing the opposite, below the 20-week moving average. That is the reason I'm concerned. That's why you guys watch this channel. We're a 4-dimensional channel. We look at every market and we correlate them. And we know there's a lot of correlations between the S&P 500 and the cryptocurrency market based on what happened on March 2020, if we all remember that. And so it's a very critical time here for Bitcoin. But what we do know is clearly happening is Bitcoin dominance is moving to the upside, forming new highs above the 50-day moving average, despite every analyst saying that Bitcoin dominance was going to continue to form new lows. I said, no, that's not the case. We topped out with Bitcoin short term at 64,000 in May, and Bitcoin dominance has not formed any lows since then. And because of that, I have assumed that we've double bottomed, and that is clearly the case. Of course, there are always those isolated altcoins that may see some new all-time highs, but when we look at Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, the Binance coin, some of these large cap coins, those are the altcoins that really matter. Those are the altcoins that institutional capital has positions in, and so those are the ones that are going to be leading indicators for the more macro environment for altcoins. And all of this is coming together with the chart that shows every altcoin outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum also forming some new lows after this lower high, breaking right now below the 50-day moving average. That tells me that if you're in altcoins and you want to prevent downside, the best way to hedge is to move into Bitcoin. And so I think that's clearly the case here. Now, the total cryptocurrency market cap chart also trying to come and test this major resistance of 2.259 trillion. Is this going to be the final move to the upside before we see some downside? I think that that's certainly on the table up until something changes with traditional markets. And what I mean by that is we need to start seeing the DXY cross back below 93.82 to assume that there's going to be more breathing room for the cryptocurrency market to see further upside without us having to be so cautious. Because if we stay above 93.82, that is a very bad sign for the cryptocurrency market. Of course, we're already seeing the effects of this in the largest traditional market, the S&P 500, breaking below this 100-day moving average. We're going to have to continue to monitor this as well. And then traditional markets like, the international aspects, Japan, China, Japan gapped down today below all of its moving averages. That's not a good puzzle piece on the table for the cryptocurrency market to see some upside either. And then oil and gold, not much to talk about there, but oil did form some new yearly highs over the last 2 days. Sometimes what we'll see is US oil and the DXY show some sort of correlation. Sometimes it's an opposite correlation. Sometimes it's a positive correlation. But the US oil moving up is definitely something to keep in mind. Gold not doing much right now. So let's monitor this Bitcoin price right now, trying to break this resistance level. I think this is a very important area for Bitcoin. If we break above it, anything could happen because we have a huge range here up until 58,353. But keep in mind, the midpoint of these ranges typically act as some sort of resistance, like we saw when we first came above 49,700 and we rejected here between the $53,000 and $54,000 level, depending on what exchange you were on. A lot happening today, guys. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 24 or 48 hours. I think that being open-minded to shorts over the next few days into the latter part of this week wouldn't be a bad idea. But the question is, where is this rally going to start seeing some calmness? At this point, we are still moving up to the upside. So, that's why when you short, it's a day trade. You want to get in and out of those trades. And so we're going to continue to monitor the prices here. I'm not being bearish. All I'm saying is that traditional markets are not in the favor of the cryptocurrency market right now to just continue to rally. Unless we're going to see a decoupling effect, but that's never happened in the history of this market. We've always seen this market correlate with traditional markets. I'll show you an example here from the 2017 and 18 rally. We all remember when Bitcoin first went up to 20,000 US dollars and then it started to come down. If we look at what happened in January of 2018 to the S&P 500, I don't know if you guys were watching the S&P 500 back then, but it did the same exact thing here in January of 2018. It rallied up in the same time that Bitcoin topped out at 20,000. It also came below its 20-week moving average. And so, like I said, these markets are extremely correlated, and that's why we always cover each and every one of them on this channel to stay 4-dimensional, to give you guys the best perspective on a daily basis when it comes to intraday and macro. And so with that being said, let's continue to monitor prices. Once again, we just opened up our Discord again after upgrading our website yesterday. If you guys want to join, the link is in the description below. We've had a tremendous amount of success with our trades over the last week, and this is pretty much every single week we have a tremendous amount of success. Not just me, but a dozen of our analysts that also post their trades on a daily basis. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel today. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I couldn't do this without you. By the way, I'm going to be speaking on stage at Coin Agenda here in Dubai from the 8th to the 10th with Crypto, Carl the Moon, and Da Vinci on a panel. So for those that are in Dubai, I will post a link to that conference if you guys want to come and join us. Michael Turpin is going to be hosting this, and I don't have a link just yet. I'm waiting for that from one of the PR ladies to send that over to me, and I can get that link out to you guys. But going to be very interesting to see what happens here to Bitcoin between 49,700 and 58,000, with the S&P 500 just not showing strength. I'm just saying we should be showing some caution right now. And by the way, with Ethereum, I do want to mention that with a break to above this major resistance at 50,000, there is a likelihood we can come up, test this channel resistance around 3,600, and we also have major resistance at 3,650 to watch. And so I think that these two levels can come into play at some point or another, but it's quite clear right now that Bitcoin dominance wants to move up. Ethereum to Bitcoin chart also showing weakness, and you can see it's way in below this 50-day moving average, coming down towards this 100-day moving average. So that's not a surprise for those that have been tuned into the channel. Thank you all. Until next time, snipers.